Hello, this is Cooking with Chrissy in the Lou, and I am about to make, guess what? Pear cobbler. I have cut up my pears. These are fresh D'Angelo pears, and I'm gonna make a homemade crust that works just like magic. It's gonna be rising up from the bottom. I am trying to put together the filling and the crust. I am going to melt, I got my oven preheated to 350, and I'm going to melt a whole stick of butter. Some people fall short of melting a whole stick, but I'm going to go ahead and melt a whole stick of butter. I'm gonna go over our ingredients that we're gonna be using for everything. We're gonna work on this, see, whole stick of butter. And we're gonna melt it right down in this pan. Trying to make sure all the paper is off of this. Yep, whole stick of butter. Get melted in the oven now. Because these are fresh pears, and they are already trying to brown a little bit, I'm going to pour in about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So they can stay bright, have that bright and fresh taste. We're gonna whisk our dry ingredients together for our pie crust. And we're gonna pour it right on top of that melted butter once it's melted. But for right now, we're gonna get together this pie filling. Ooh, this top is so, my hand was on that butter. So I'm gonna put a little brown sugar in here. Brown sugar, baby. So I'm gonna give this a toss. These are fresh, this is fresh pears. Protected from the air getting to them. And it's only gonna make for a better crust. I mean, for a better filling, rather. Oh, boy, I put too much in. You really can't have too much. Wow. About 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna put in about a cup just under a cup of sugar. White sugar. Put a little brown sugar, baby. A little brown sugar. This is Cooking with Chrissy and the Lou. I've never made a pear cobbler, but it's basically the same way that you make a brown sugar. Just getting the filling together right now. Put a dash of salt. Kind of balance out. Anytime you cook sweet stuff, you want to balance it out. Add a little nutmeg. It's probably about 1/4 of nutmeg. Stir that around. Put in a cap full of vanilla extract. Just for a little flavor. Smells good. And just to help it thicken some, we're going to put in a little cornstarch. Probably like a 1/2 teaspoon cornstarch. Just to help it thicken. I'm gonna level it off with my hand, cornstarch. That's gonna help thicken it. Stir that in. I think I put a lot of cinnamon in it. Oh boy. It's gonna help thicken that. I'm gonna put this over there in the pot and kind of let that thicken in the on the stove top. All right, 3/4 cup of water. Put that in the pot. Put that on the simmer. Let that simmer. Check on this butter. It's almost completely melted. Put together our pie crust. Now, for this recipe, you're really supposed to use the self-rising flour. But since I don't have the self-rising flour, I have all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour. But it's preferable so you won't have to use the baking soda. I'm gonna need baking soda to help mine to rise. Got the whisk ready. These are dry ingredients. We're gonna pour this dry ingredient inside the wet butter and top it off with the pears. So that's 1 cup of flour. One cup of sugar. Gonna do some cinnamon. About a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. A little nutmeg. This will give our crust flavor. 1/4 of salt. And I'm using sea salt here. 1/4 salt. Baking soda, we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. That's gonna help it to rise. That's 1 teaspoon baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm gonna whisk this all together so they can be all the way incorporated. Our dry ingredients. 1 cup flour, 1 cup sugar, 1/4 salt, nutmeg, cinnamon, then we're gonna put in a cup of milk. I got 2%. Milk. And since we're putting in the milk, I'm gonna put a little bit of be a consistency like that, creamy consistency. I'm gonna put like a capful of vanilla extract for flavor. I think I must put a lot of cinnamon in there. I think I put that much cinnamon. Put a little nutmeg in there too. I'm gonna watch y'all, have y'all watch me put it together. Smell good over here. Take this butter out. Butter is melted. I'm gonna pour this right into the pan. Spread that over there. Let y'all look at these pears cooking over here. These pears. Smelling good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna carefully place we're not gonna stir it in. We're just gonna carefully, strategically place the pears on top of the mixture here. I'm gonna pour all this mixture in here because it might mess it up. And then we're gonna pop it into a 350-degree oven. Ooh, that smells so good. Stay tuned for the taste test. Cooking with Chrissy. Part 2 to come.